Hi, Spencer.
Hello, Mahmoud. How you doing today?
Good. How you doing as well?
I'm doing good. Happy to see that people can attend this meeting. It's obviously moving this meeting around with automation and IoT did some good things, so now it's just carries right through, especially for you, Mahmoud. You probably just came from the IoT team meeting.
Oh, no, the IoT meeting is after this one.
Oh, yes, correct. Yes, that's right.
Hey Spencer, how you doing? Can you hear
Hello,
me?
Indra. Yes, I can.
Okay.
Hello, John.
Hi, Spencer. Um, and we were in a automation team meeting, kind of kicked us out here out of that meeting. I guess for this meeting, it's doing that automatically.
Automatically, yeah, because all I did was sit on Zoom and waited, and then it booted me into the meeting. So I don't know what's going on with automatically kicking out and all that kind of stuff.
Um,
Okay, so I know Oliver is supposed to be joining us. He said he could join, but he might be a little bit late. So if you want, if we want, we can get started right now. Let me adjust this time here for. There we go. Uh, yeah, let's just get started right now. So we do have an agenda for today. So here was the summary of our kind of last meeting. Our last meeting more in depth covered Flowbrain and Kaipo as they're approaching their deployment, especially with Flowbrain backend, as that is very important for kind of our big progression in the Humanoid project. Talked about the AWS deployment, and as we heard from robotics meeting, both Oliver and Kier are working on that, so that's at least been talked about. I covered kind of a start of uh, kind of our own robotic hand development, but again, overall, the meeting covered more in detail about Flowbrain Kaipo and then the continued research and design of our humanoid system. But I will say from other meetings, me and John came to agreement that a roadmap needed to be made for humanoid. So a lot will kind of be changing these next couple days. So uh, in terms of kind of where we see kind of the projection of where humanoids going, changing tasks, changing research. So a lot of stuff is going to be changing in these next couple weeks. I know we do have a new team member. Welcome, Charles, the welcome to the show. Uh, you're going to be doing some research, and as you are part of the back end team, you are my representative. I am appointing you representative on the back end team. If you get that reference, good job. Um, but you're if I have questions about back end, kind of where it's going, I'm gonna probably be talking to you or Indra, more times than not about currently where you guys sit on that. So be prepared for that. But besides that, welcome to the team. We should start immediately talking about the humanoid new roadmap that was discussed. I showed it during Wednesday's meeting. You saw it briefly. I've done some work on it. So I want to kind of discuss the new roadmap that we have. Again, our the four main objectives as we kind of come up with is the development of modifications on pre-existing robots. That's putting Flowbrain in, maybe giving custom skins, vinyl wrapping, stuff like that. Two, development of our own little desktop robot, small little robots that people can load an AI assistant into and kind of just have with them. Development of our own chassis bots, essentially larger robots that work in industrial sites and stuff like that. And finally, the development of our own in-house humanoid. So, so you know those main objectives, and you've probably already. I showed everyone kind of describing each one, where they come from, what they are. So today I actually want to just go over the objective steps in a little more detail than I did in Wednesday's meeting because all of us will be performing these tasks and or these steps in the process to get these projects off the ground. So our first objective, which is again is the editing and modification of pre-existing robots already on the market. Our first step, our first task, and this would be more to Charles and Indra, would be getting FlowBrain, remote control and autonomous control implemented into whatever robot we want to do. We're working on that with John's RoboDog that he has there already. So that will be our kind of like first attempt at this, kind of our first understanding of this implementation. Uh, After that, after we have kind of an understanding and we have a working system, we are going to buy one of these robot dogs, either from the used market, most likely, and take it apart for all non-structural parts, essentially every kind of like the covers. We're going to take it apart and we want to 3D scan them. The reason we want to 3D scan them is if we want to 3D print the parts in different colors, different materials, or if we want to do, edit the parts, certain parts, make it look like a cat, make it look like a dog, make it look like a longhorn. That kind of editing can be done with 3D printed parts. So we want to do that. It also helps to have a physical model when it goes to vinyl decaling something so you can kind of see how the vinyl lays on the part. So that's another reason why we want to 3D scan these parts and get them into kind of a shared folder. Afterwards, and after we kind of have done it one time, we will probably begin a kind of mini little campaign, kind of seeing if universities want to invest in this, if, who wants to kind of buy onto this idea of AI assistant into robots, who wants to buy into the idea of the customization part of it. We want to kind of start doing our research into kind of our customer base, especially as John said, the big buyers for this right now will be universities. They will be the big targets for uh, this kind of revenue stream. Objective 2, which is our desktop robot, which, as you can see here, is just a small little thing. It could be either stationary or moving. It could be just a little tiny clock or something we could develop. So the first step, it's the FlowBrain mobile app and the kind of a creation of a companion app. The app would give the companion like eyes, give it maybe a little bit of emotion, kind of have it be able to listen and answer questions and stuff like that. We would want to basically mimic this company's kind of app structure to kind of see how they did it and how they used AI to kind of create their kind of assistant companion next to their AI and kind of how they've built it from the ground up. Um, while that's going on, we would want to kind of determine what kind of AI companion do we want to do. Do we want to do one? Do we want to do two different ones? Do we want to go, crazy and do three? Um, or do we just want to start small and start working on just have all focus on one type of companion, one like this? And if we want to just focus on the one, we would probably have to purchase one so that someone on the team can disassemble it and kind of see the electronic components that are in there. We want to see motors, we want to see PCB boards, we want to kind of see what this company used. Where do we think we can improve their electronical choices? Can we put Wi-Fi in? Can we, substitute some parts out for better? This process, we would be able to get parts through 3D printing. We would be able to again get inspired by our electronic choices, and we would also get pieces that weren't 3D printed, whether that be like pins or screws or bolts. We'd be able to get that as well. So then we won't be starting from ground zero. We'd be starting from a very full list. Once we have those choices made, assembled, and all that kind of stuff, and we have kind of stuff ready to go, and we feel like we should try to build it ourselves, we would send maybe ourselves a kit. So either me or Haroon, Indra, if you want to do it, Charles, if you feel like you want to try to do some kit building, we would send you a kit. You would put it together, and you would play around with it. You would build it, test it, use it in your daily life. We would kind of record our experiences. So do we think it's ready to be shown? Are there any changes we need or want to make? And then how beginner friendly is it? Because again, we want this to be able to be open sourced. We want so someone can come in and say, here's the parts, I can 3D print the parts, here's the bill of materials, I can buy it, buy those parts. The big thing we're trying to sell here is the companion app and the AI. That is where our profits are.
Yeah, and I think most of that functionality is all coming from the mobile app.
Yes,
Um, right? So the multimodal perception team, um, which is Indra, Charles, and Machi that are part of that team on this team, um, should really kind of figure out
how this works.
how we can make this happen because there's no reason to work on the body actually and all that stuff until we got
Do we have the app?
the, the app working, right?
Yeah, exactly. Um,
So
yeah, and then once you have that working, then you would have kind of once testing is complete and we feel that kit's ready and something we can put out on FloLabs or Hephaestus International or RoboCollective.ai, wherever we want to put this. We'll most likely put it on RoboCollective.ai for now. Once testing is complete, we would open source all the files. That's hardware and electronics with assembly instructions so that people know how to put it together. We'd offer kits for both 3D printed parts, hardware and electronics. So if someone doesn't want to do the whole, printing themselves and trying to buy um, from a bunch of different resellers, we could say, hey, look at here, here's a kit. All right, so we sell you the parts, we sell you the electronics and all that. So now it's just the assembly that they have to do. And I put this as an if we can offer a fully assembled version if we want to. But I put maybe it's an idea that's kind of it's something that we probably wouldn't think about, but it is an idea that we should probably consider selling a fully assembled version for if there's like a younger kid involved in this, if there's maybe an older person that wants to use it, a fully assembled version would be something that they would be very interested in.
yeah, and this also that same mobile app that's on that phone, it seems like that could also be the solution for say for the robo dog that we have. Um, if we could, you know, put put kind of wrap it on, kind of have some holder 3D printed, with a connector, put the phone
Yes.
on, and then the Unitree RoboDog can work with it as it's working now, but the phone would be the voice and the right and that
Yeah.
aspect of it. So it would
I
still be
think
working as it does. The
yes.
robot would still be working with all the Unitree functionality, but this would just be, the
The
dog would be
AI.
talking to you and you'd be interacting with it
Yep.
from a voice standpoint.
Exactly. Exactly. So like I feel like Objective 2 is definitely something we would probably start development on pretty quickly. It is something there's a lot of learning here that's going to influence other objective. It's something that we would be kind of very interested in. Then Objective 3, which is the chassis robot. These robots are this is the vaguest category of robots, but it's also the most recognizable form of robotics in the world. And because of that, it gives us good foundations of where to start, but it's also gives us a lot of creative licensing. So our first steps, since we all know kind of a lot of it's a lot of the preamble is getting Flow Brain up and running, getting our application up and running, getting all that up and running first. I didn't feel the need to put it here. I might put it here for new incomers to kind of understand that. Um, But our first step would be to kind of gather ideas from past works here at FloLabs and others. Some of the ones that I saw were like a luggage cart for a concierge robot, a butler, something like a humanoid robot that just goes around, collects dishes or something at a restaurant, cleaning, maybe a robot that kind of just broom sweeps something. And then there was a couple other ones, but I forgot, so I just put ETCs. And those are kind of some of the ideas that were kind of brought up here at FloLabs and at other companies. Once we have kind of like a list of robots that we feel like we want to pursue, that we want to design, we would kind of come down to a catalog. So we won't pursue like all 10 or 15 that we come off with. We want to pursue either two, three, or four. That's kind of our limit. We want to pursue either two, three, or four different chassis robots. The team would then split up. We begin to shape the designs and kind of come up with how quickly we feel like each one could be deployed. Kind of come up with a time frame of task, designing, production. How fast do we think we can get a chassis bot out the door? We would pick our first product for real world testing. So once we have like kind of that kind of understanding of what's going on, what we're doing, how it's working, which robot we feel most confident in, that would be the chassis we would pick, fully build out, actually make it in the real world, and then do some real world testing with it to actually have it in its environment. We would use the testing videos as a form of marketing, showing it working and being used. And then we would take those responses of interest not only as a way of selling, but also as a way of finding new ideas. Say a hospital reaches out and says, "Hey, could you do this as like instead of a luggage cart, do this as a medical cart where it carries drugs or something like that?" Yeah, we could. It'd just be, how do we modify that? So this one is another one that I feel that if we dedicate time to would be pretty close to kind of a development stream. But again, it's definitely blocked by FlowBrain backend. A lot of these projects are right there. They take a lot of development time for FlowBrain backend. And then I have a jet to four steps. Those are development of our own in-house humanoid. I can kind of I don't have it written here, but I can kind of give a synopsis. We would kind of move up the tree of complexity. So we would start with the hands. Our first hand would be our own kind of gripper, whether that's two prong, three-prong, or four-prong. A basic gripper design so that we have some kind of knowledge of wiring, of pneumatics, of other things like that. We want to kind of get our design principles down quickly. Then we would move on to a four-finger design with one example of a four-finger design. If since Charles is here, I should show this. You've probably seen, I don't know if you've probably seen this before, but it is something that you can look at. This is a four-finger humanoid hand. It's a humanoid hand that we've done kind of research on, and we will probably begin development on with taking their finger design, how they have it with individual motors driving each finger. We will probably be taking that, and if you see here, this is the kind of design for the finger we are talking about here. We would take this design, play around with it, maybe choose different materials, different motors, and then we would seat that into our own kind of palm design with our own fingers, and then market it, and then kind of just continue development. And then we would also then develop a five finger. That would most likely be modeled after the Orca or Ruka hand. So if you don't know what Orca hand is, let's see if I can find it. This one right here. So these are the Orca hand brand. You can see it's a five finger dexterous. We would take pretty much the entirety of the upper hand, because what these robots are were called tendon driven. Essentially, there's strings or wires running all the way from the bottom of the wrist all the way up to the tip of the fingers, so that I would drive the motor and it would retract my finger. And then internal springs that they made in here would, when I release that tension, would spring it back forward. So we would take the modifications we could do here is pretty much the hand actual portion has been solved. It's been used by Ruka, Orca, it's been used by NASA, it's used by Tesla. So the tendon driven system has been figured out. It's worked for a bunch of companies already. What we would do, our portion would be below. We would make our wrist, and then how we distribute the motor drives and whether we make our custom actuators and stuff like that. That's where our development would come in. Once we have our gripper, our four-finger hand, and our five-finger hand, we would move on to the arms, arms and torso. Once we have that, you do the head and then the legs. The legs are the last because you have to make sure the legs support the weight of everything else above. So it is a very, very complex, um, very complex thing, but it needs everything above it to be finished first before you can begin development. So that's a basic overview of Objective 4. I'm going to go into more detail here when I have time, but you can kind of understand now where we kind of see Humanoid going into the future here at FloLabs.
Okay, great. Well, I think looking at it from a perspective of kind of, who can be divided on what tasks right now. Um, Again, looking Indra Machi and Charles, their multimodal perception team.
Yeah.
How long would it take? What do we need to do
Yeah.
to have an app that we can put on our RoboDog? We have a team member that's going to be coming here to Limnos in about less than 4 weeks to launch our lab.
Perfect.
Launch our lab here, and he'll also be on this. He's also an embedded systems guy like Charles and Mahmoud. He's from France, and
Okay.
so we want to kind
Yeah.
of try to move forward with that.
Yeah. I would continue focusing on the app development, the back end. Right now, that is the big blocker for a lot of these projects. A lot of the big things that can be done right now are kind of like research into certain things. Those I have kind of covered here in the next one. So I kind of have here for your next understanding, we have possible early tasks that can be done right now. They're not dependent on uh, whether we have FlowBrain backend or any app ready to go. These can be done right now quickly and easily. Um, our first, the first one, we want to do some research into 3D scanning. The reason we want to do research is because when we go into customization and kind of the design process, 3D scanning is going to save the designers it's going to save them hundreds of thousands of hours. Because now I'm not working from dial caliper readings. I'm working from an already pre-existing part, and now I'm just editing it. It'd be a lot quicker, a lot more efficient. I'd be able to get a design a lot faster and out the door. So we definitely want to do some research into 3D scanners that are available. If you want a kind of curiosity of who I'm talking about, we have Ferrocreaform. This is a top tier company. They've been doing 3D scanning since the invention of photogrammetry, which is taking pictures of an object all around and then stitching them together into a 3D object. They've been doing this for well over a couple decades. Then you have Shining 3D. They are a little bit of newcomers to this game, but they have a much bigger line of 3D scanners. We would probably be looking at laser. We would be looking in the metrology or professional grade. The reason you want to look here is because the accuracies are a lot better and a lot more better for because we're buying from China. Their GD&T laws are a bit more strict. They have tighter tolerancing than here in America and a little tighter than ISO standards. So we would want to be looking at a little bit of a higher end scanner. Riverpoint, this is a 3D scanning company that's primarily based here in the US. A lot of it's assembled in China, but the company is based, you'd see China, but their main office is here in the US. Um, they have been doing it. They've done everything from turntable scanners, full field parallel laser lines. They've been doing kind of the same as Shining 3D, so they've been doing it as well. And then finally, we have Creality. These guys are for the creatives. These guys are for kind of like the artist use. They also have a line of 3D scanners that they have put out. Whether it's really simple for really small projects for certain creators, or if you're looking to get into a little more of a serious game and want to start producing for selling, then you can look at their higher ends. These are the four big competitors for 3D scanning. They've been in the market for most likely well over, if I remember correctly, Creality's first product, 3 scanner, came out a decade ago, and since then they've all been on market for 3D scanners. So that's one task that can be done pretty early on, done now, so then we have a kind of understanding of the 3D scanning market. Another one is another task that can be done really early is we want to do 3D printing suppliers. The reason we want to do research here is because FloLabs doesn't have their own 3D printers set up, and getting 3D printer set up is a pretty time consuming process. It requires understanding layer lines, understanding temperatures, and getting all that kind of figured out. It takes a lot of time, and I rather not wait for that. So we want to be able to do research into 3D printing suppliers. The two big ones in this field are both Arzometry. They recently did 3D printing metal for the Artemis 2 mission. Their parts are on that. And then Strayas 3D. They are Strayas Direct. They are the two largest. Both of them have 3D printed parts in space. Both have been doing 3D printing for government agencies for well over a decade. They're highly trusted. They've been certified pretty much under every form of banner. They've done it all. You'd see here kind of what you'd see. Uh, Xometry takes their kind of experience to kind of another level. They are very, very, very certified, especially, got ITAR, you have CMMC level 2, so they're very trusted 3D print provider. And then the other tasks, final decal design. We want to kind of see how this is done. We want to, get a more better understanding of how we make our own custom vinyls, how we buy vinyls, how we can make decals and stuff like that. This would be done in junction with the design team because we would want their input. Also, this would be something that would be influenced by having 3D files of all the parts, because then a designer can kind of visualize what the vinyl would look like on the part.
Yeah, we have some old research that we've done,
Yeah,
some
we've done. Yeah.
joined Spencer. I don't know if you
Okay.
saw that. Okay.
Okay. I only reason I have it here is because we will eventually have 3D files of those parts. So it might be something we can pay back visits to once we can kind of see what the vinyl looks like on a part. Something we
Yeah.
can come back.
So initially, the designer, he took the Robo Dog and it made all these different pieces that you could kind of cut and put it
Yep.
over certain parts, and it really didn't work out. It ended up, I went to the printer and basically he ended up taking the vinyl wrap and putting it around and kind of cutting it around
Yeah.
the part. So that's going to probably be the most practical way at this point, is to take that and to have the robot wrapped like that.
Yep.
And so
Yeah. Yeah.
if like the robot that we have, I did a rollover on some gravel, and it kind of ruined a little, pieces of the
Yeah.
vinyl wrapper. So there's certain things that we can do to make the vinyl wrap more durable.
Yes.
Actually, I didn't have some type of a special cover when I left, because I was leaving Bulgaria at the time and I was traveling to Greece,
Yep.
and so we kind of had a deadline. But anyway, so we've kind of been through that process.
Okay.
Um,
This is more on the design side, making like actually learning how to visually put, like looking at softwares to put vinyl wrappings on parts, looking at softwares to put decals on parts, that kind of previs everything. That's what I meant by this, kind of looking at the software side of it. So we kind of see what we're going to do and what it's going to look like at the end of it.
okay.
And then another one, robot collective.ai exploration. Um, what I mean by this is kind of we as humanoid team should go on to robocollective.ai and just explore the website, click on everything, open up every page, go to contact us about, and just look for maybe misspellings, kind of things that look off, and just kind of record them down on a document, record them down, and then we'll hand that back to design team to kind of so that we can make the robocollective.ai page look a little bit better, have it kind of cleaned up with kind of the input of this team. I might open it up even further to the entirety of the robotics team, since Kaipo is listed on that website as well. So I feel like this task is something the entirety of robotics should be kind of concerned about.
Yeah, and just to give everybody a heads up, I mean, this is when we have a lead generated for Robo Collective, um, we will set up a meeting with them, and this is the core team that will be meeting with the prospect. So, and so you'll see all the different robots that we have. Well, they'll reach out to us. We don't have any pricing. We'll bring all of our experts, this team, and maybe some others from other teams, and we'll have a discussion what they're looking for specifically, and just get all their information. And so we want to be kind of hardware agnostic. We're like, well, we got this company, we got this company, maybe we have another one. Let us see what the customer needs, and then suggest the humanoid from this company, or maybe humanoid from Unitree,
Yep.
so yeah, so that will, this is the humanoid team, the robot team, let's say. So, and then part of that revenue coming into Robo Collective will be kind of the fun parts of this
Okay.
team, as this is the kind of the expert team. And of course, then they have a humanoid, they want a humanoid from whoever, they want a robo dog, when we have FlowBrain working and we have, you can use our, FlowBrain, your robot can talk to, or your RoboDog or your humanoid. So we will, when we have our tech, you know, we'll implement our tech. If not, we'll whatever's out there, however they're selling it. And then again, if you want this robo dog to be a robo cat or a robo hippo or a robo longhorn, then this team will be responsible for um, the 3D printing of the shell, the horns or whatever that would go onto that robot, and then kind of creating the vinyl wrapper, 3D printing in certain colors. I think that's
Yep.
going to be something that others aren't selling
No.
right now,
No.
and so
Yeah.
that'll be kind of a Imagineering, right? We want
Yeah.
to be like Imagineering, creating these toys, robotic toys, and they're already out there, right? The main robots are already out there. We're not
Yeah.
going to recreate the wheel. We're
No.
just going to put the shell on it and the voice and animation and try to
Yeah.
do something.
I only found one person, one group that is doing something like us with like the whole custom vinyl wrapping. It's Unitree itself with their R1. They offer it in two different colors. That's it. So that is the only group I have found that's thought of this like, hey, let's take a robot and change its skin. And that's that. So Unitree is the only one I've seen that's actually knocking on that door. So
They probably do vinyl wrapper though. They're probably
yes,
printing those in different
or
colors, I guess.
exactly.
You
Um,
know,
then let me reshare my screen. I stopped sharing so then you could talk to everybody. The last one is buying. We want to kind of go into detail, maybe a little minor detail, look about, if AutoSing kind of says what companies have bought into their system, what companies have bought into the Unitree system. We want to kind of see what companies are, involved in these businesses. We want to kind of just do some early preliminary like lead generation or kind of like lead profiling. So we kind of want to do that just so then we have a list when we go to actually start generating these leads really fast. We kind of have some already provocative buyers and people that have already done it. And then finally, Indra kind of talked to me and we had a conversation about a GitHub kind of repository for our 3D files, our, just somewhere where we're going to kind of store our coding information, store our 3D files, store our bill of materials, stuff like that. Um, I agree with Indra. We probably should make a GitHub for this team so then we just have somewhere where we can kind of store all this information. A lot of the information will be first posted on Notion, but the GitHub will be the thing where people can, come and get information about, maybe the 3D files for one of our small desktop toys or the bill of materials for one of our small desktop toys. That is the thing they're going to be going to. So it's definitely something, creating a repository for us would definitely be something that we should discuss. So I wanted to bring that up to everybody. I wanted to see if anyone has an opinion on that. Machi, do you think that's a good idea to kind of have a GitHub for this team?
Uh, I mean, I don't see any other reasonable storage space for our 3D files and for any other. I mean, GitHub is the place anyway to like track projects, especially of this nature and working with a humanoid team. So it just makes sense.
Which makes sense, yeah. I figured as much because we've seen examples of that with Asimov, R2s. A lot of other open source developers especially are already using GitHub, so why try to innovate when it seems like everybody has agreed that GitHub is kind of the place to be. So I wanted
I
to.
agree, 100%. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So yeah, that's something that probably me, Indra, maybe you, Machi, will kind of discuss that and set that up, get that kind of set up
Yeah,
and
sure.
ready to go. Because that will be very good for you know influencer team. You might show that off. Hey, look at this. We have a GitHub. This is what you can find there. All that kind of stuff. So it's you'll definitely have to be a part of it, kind of. So then we have a kind of visual
That's an
language.
idea.
So
Mm.
that's you'll probably be part of that group. Charles, you'll probably be there as well. Basically, everybody on this team's going to be involved in kind of how we set up our GitHub page. But I wanted to bring that up here because that was brought up by Indra, and I thought that was a very good point. Um, that is it. I wanted to kind of just show this off, what's kind of going on right now. Does anyone have any questions or other topics they want to quickly cover here? Charles, if you want to kind of ask about, you know, what I'm kind of interested in on the back end. So then you know what the kind of update me on and kind of stuff like that. You can ask that if you want to.
Honestly, a lot of things I'm going to do are doing the masterclass and
Okay.
doing overall, like, have an overall aspect of all the project because you presented it really well, but
Yeah, thank you.
don't, I never went on it. I never looked at all the back end and
Yeah,
stuff like that. So
yeah, yeah.
that will take some
All,
time just to
all,
discover
all,
and
all,
understand everything
all
before
I'm like,
starting.
yeah, and just to kind of give you an idea, all I kind of want is just maybe just a regular update about just
Okay.
what's going on back end. Indra, I'll probably be talking to Indra too, but if God forbid Indra is sick or not available, you're probably going to be the person I ping. So
Okay, no
just as
problem.
an FYI.
Yeah, I will write everything down.
Yeah, good. Um, I know Mohammed, I know you're working with more on IoT in the Internet of Things. I'm curious to know how it's going over there right now. Do you feel like you're getting because I know Kaipo especially is a big thing. I know you guys are really excited about DevKit. So if you can give me a little update about how it's going, because I'm kind of interested in some of the team members there for electronics.
Okay. So, I'm currently working on a task in the IoT team. I'm done with it, so I'll be presenting it to them today. So once that is done, I don't think I'll be occupied with the IoT for now. So I'll be able to take up any humanoid project.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then that's good because now that I think about it, maybe we should just put tentative names to these tasks. So then I kind of have people that are interested in doing this kind of research if they want to kind of learn more in depth. So 3D scanners, who's if anyone's interested in that, actually if you want to try and tackle that task, because I know you did the um third party research. I looked at it, very good. Thank you for that. Kind of give me an overall view of the business model and all that. That was nice. Now I understand what they're doing. It's awesome. Um, get closer, my friend. But no, so I'm gonna ask who wants to take on who wants to try to do 3D scanner research. If anyone here wants to try and do it.
So
So what,
Elias, I'm sorry, Elias had done some pretty in-depth research on 3D printers, not
I'm
scanners,
looking.
I guess.
He's
Yeah.
already done some. Okay, I'll take a look at it then
I'm
before
sorry, it wasn't on the scanners, it was on 3D printers
printers. Oh yeah, okay, perfect. Great.
and
Awesome.
material as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I've read those. I've read those already. So I was like, I didn't see anything for scanners. So if someone wants to do some research into 3D scanners, learn that whole world, if anyone's interested.
And what's the purpose? Can you explain what the purpose of once we do the research on the 3D scanners, are we gonna buy one? Uh,
We will probably buy one. Yes. Yes. We'll
okay.
be in the
And
purchase.
how much are those?
Um most of them most of the ones I've looked at start anywhere from as low as like 2K. The highest one I saw in like my like dream choice is like 12,000, and that's way too expensive. But they're all over the price range, and that's what would be part of this 3D scanner research would be kind of, I have a matrix I'm going to set up for this objective that I kind of have.
And what are we gonna scan with these?
Parts of the humanoid, parts of the robot dog, parts of the little desktop bots, stuff like that. We're gonna 3D scan them.
Okay, well, I think like that, I mean, from a financial standpoint, if once we start having revenue, I don't know if like our priority is going to be on getting a scanner or getting the parts to do the arm and the hand. Um,
It's gonna
but
I see it as a 3D scanner is gonna save your designer's time. A 3D, so then I'm not beginning from I'm not having to do dial caliper measurements on parts. I'm now able to just take a part, 3D scan it, put it into the software, solve it, and then have a 3D file that I can work on. It's going to save me an exponential amount of time. And figure once we scan it, we don't have to scan it again. Those
okay,
files will be.
okay, I'm just trying to think how practical that is at this point in time in our juncture. But you know, if you want to, yeah, if you want to get some research done on that, I mean, I'm just trying to think from each one of these topics, like what are the first, like if we move these forward, what are the first things that we need to, like the next step and the next step after that in order to make that thing happen. Um, and so I just in the past we've gone and we've done a lot of research and research and research. I mean, now it's like what are the things we're trying to launch and focus on those near-term objectives.
Yes.
Um, so again, let's do the research. If you know, I don't think you know it's going to take more than a couple hours for someone to use Chat GBT and pull together some research and kind of give us a presentation about it here. But I just don't know how practical it is for us to actually like go and buy a scanner.
No,
Uh,
it's not right now, but doing the research is still worth it.
okay, okay, sounds.
So, who wants to take it? Mohammed, Machi, Charles?
I'm okay to take it.
Okay. Okay.
Take a couple hours in.
Yeah, it shouldn't take long. I'll create the task and kind of show you what I kind of want, kind of your matrix.
Okay.
Okay. 3D printing suppliers. That would be looking at Xometry and Stress, kind of seeing what they offer. Um, Maybe getting tentative, maybe looking at enterprise, corporate stuff. If you want to, who wants to take this one? I already gave one to Machi. I don't want to give another one to him because he's the team lead of um influencers, and they're going to get started here soon. So I don't want to give something else to Machi.
I
Mahamud.
can
Yeah.
look into it.
Okay.
Oh,
Rock,
Oh.
paper, scissors, boys.
Now, Mohammed can do it. I have to look up into the
yeah.
masterclass and
Okay.
everything else in general of all the other teams too. So
I mean, we can do it together actually.
Mahamud, okay. If you want to, you know what? I'll give it to both of you because I see that Charles might have some interest into it, and you, Mahamud, you're part of this team. So I'll give it to both of you just to kind of just so then you Charles has something he might just look at, learn a little bit, and Mahamud, I'm giving you a research task. Vinyl and decaling, but I have to look at what's already done because I have to kind of look at the other research just to see what was done, kind of see what we want to do from that research. Robo Collective, Lower Collective.ai, John. I feel like just assigning this to everyone that's part of robotics team.
Yeah,
Just have,
yeah, yeah. Everybody should be assigned to Research Robo Collective. Um, Provide any suggestions that you
yeah,
might have, how we can improve the site.
yeah.
And yeah, and then we want to discuss that at the next meeting, and we can, um, yeah, because Machi is also very involved in Robo Collective because he's team lead for the influencer team.
Yep,
So that team will be generating leads and
yep.
then engaging this team to be on the meetings once we've got a lead.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll take the buying examples. Buying examples are just going to be companies that have already initiated with the companies that we will be kind of representing, like Unitree. I want to see who's bought into Unitree robots, maybe if I could find those examples. Um, the AutoSync chassis, I want to see who they've had purchases from, so that we just have a list, a preemptive list of possible people we can target immediately. So I'll take that task. Good. It's perfect. Okay. Well, that's all for today. I wanted to kind of especially give Charles his fresh welcome. Uh, and I just wanted to kind of get these preemptive tasks and kind of tell everybody kind of what the next steps of Humanoid will probably look like. So we're done for today, unless John, you have some questions.
Um, well, it just I want to try and understand maybe the roadmap for the app that would be on our RoboDog and potentially on Louis or this robot that's on, kind of a desktop. Um, and
Indra
uh,
had left. So
yeah, Charles, Machi, and Indra are on the um, multimodal perception team. So yeah, I think between the three of them working on it together,
yes.
uh, to understand what that might look like, what features need to be there. It's not going to control the robot. It's
No.
just going to be on there that you can talk to it just like an AI, but it's going
Yep.
to be an app with some eyes and the camera will work
Yep.
and you know so on the little Louis robot now, it might be different. I don't know how that is going to roll around and stuff and how the interactions on the
That
app
guy.
is going to impact, but that's also maybe an IoT thing. So I think once we get to that, maybe that's Mahmoud and Charles because they're both on the IoT team. And this falls right into kind of IoT and humanoid, I guess, kind of in between.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I see a lot of electronics that are being used in Kaipo right now are probably going to be used here.
yeah,
Your controller base, your PCB, your speaker, your microphone, LEDs, stuff like that's going to be definitely present in a project like this. You're definitely going to have a bigger frame than you do with Kaipo, so you have to maybe play around a little bit more with some bigger speakers, bigger microphones, better LEDs. You can play around a little bit, but yeah, definitely when we get to this, it will definitely be a collaboration between humanoid, IoT, and definitely maybe multimodal perception. As you can see here, a phone is mounted to this robot, so it will definitely be a pretty good team collaboration project.
yeah. And I did some research the other day. Well, let me just let
Yeah,
me
no,
kind of
just
tell
go ahead.
you what it was. Yeah. mm,
If you want to share your screen, go ahead.
sure. Okay, let me do that. Share. I got so many windows open. Mm,
I do too. My Google's just nothing but tabs. Give it a second.
So it's this Luna desk mate. I guess it was called
Yep.
Louis before.
This is the one I'm showing. Yep.
Yeah. So you can see here, March 24th, pledged $518,000 uh, in that was is it doing this? Let me scroll down.
There you go.
Okay.
This is what I want. This is what I need.
Meet Louie, the device that brings your smartphone to life, elevating your desktop experience to a whole new level. Making full use of your smartphone's hardware and our built-in sensors, Louie can fully sense his surroundings. Sometimes he's a bit mischievous, but he knows where the boundaries are. If he oversteps, let him know.
Hey, Louie, take a break.
Besides interacting with you, Louie also enjoys some occasional alone time. You can try grabbing Louie's attention, but don't provoke him, or he will fight back. You can ask Louie to tell you a joke. The ChatGPT generated jokes never repeat. Or just relax and enjoy time with your new gaming buddy. With Louie, you'll discover countless precious moments you might have missed in the past. He'll automatically select the best angle and capture the memory. Plus, he's very responsive to hand gestures. Louie transforms into a wireless charger for your phone when you're concentrating on other stuffs. It keeps reminding you of important information. Sometimes Louie can get a little scared. Comfort him with a gentle touch to make him feel safe and secure. With Louie, remote interaction with your loved ones is now possible. You can remote control Louie and explore the world from his perspective. And even send animations with hand gestures. All your precious ephemeral moments are now kept by him. Every interaction makes Louie more attuned to you. Ultimately, each Louie becomes unique to you.
Hey, Louie, I guess we'll be stuck here for a bit longer.
With our advanced biomimetic behavior engine and ChatGPT integration, Louie promises endless, delightful interactions that keep you engaged. He's a whimsical little desktop robot, remote avatar, gaming companion, wireless charger, and more. Your phone has always had a soul. It's now time to give it a body. Say hello to Louie.
Yeah. So anyway, that's basically Louis, you can see $119 here, 29% off they have. And so,
You get back.
yeah, but I think it's a pretty interesting device. It kind of falls into what we're our
Yep.
our roadmap with the Flow Brain. Instead of
Yep.
ChatGPT, it would be Flow Brain in the back
Yep,
end.
exactly. That when I actually found it on Amazon, I went, "Oh, there it is. That's the one. That's the one I want to try to make." I picked that. I picked that one. And I bought, which was another kind of AI companion robot that was available like a little bit before that one. And then the one that just sits on your desk and works like a clock. It doesn't move, but it's able to give you those updates. It has a camera on it, so it's able to give you, video chat, call, and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, that's another one we can do if we want to do a simpler version or something. So I've already seen that one as well. So yeah, that is definitely part of our roadmap.
Yeah, and I think like once you have Flow Brain, it's on your desktop. We will have an edge device, FlowClaw, like OpenClaw, that will reside on your computer. We'll have Kaipo, that's the wearable, that have a camera that's while you're working, it will look at your computer and you can talk to it, right? And then you'll have a little desktop that can look at you and you can kind of interact, which is the Flow Brain. So that's kind of the ecosystem that we want to create is how you can really be productivity on steroids, right?
Exactly.
And having Flow Brain and having these
Yeah.
tools that can
Yeah,
so
perfect. Okay, well, that is it for today, unless someone has anything else to say. Thank you, Charles, for attending this meeting. Thank you for coming. I hope you have a good time here, learn some new things, especially from back end, especially from here at Humanoid as well. So, thank you
okay.
all for coming.
Thank
Thank you all
you.
so much.
Have a good day.
See you at the next meeting. Bye.